It's awesome. Like, it is fun to watch. It's fun to watch these people scheme. You almost get like a front row seat even to what's going on in people's heads at tribal council, or not tribal council. It's something totally different. But like it. It's totally different, but just like it. Yes. And it is awesome. Like, I love watching it, actually. I tune in, turn it on. I put it on my big screen TV. I don't know if you know this about me, but I have 75-inch TV in my living room. Yeah. But it's been awesome, and it's winding down here. Hopefully we do another season, because this turned out really awesome. Like, I am way stoked on it. And it's fun to see these people experience a social experiment game that has never been done before, the likes of which have never been done before, and watch it all play out in front of our very eyes.
Expedition Online, it's your girl tearing it up. You know what? I am here to play. Brandon was like, y'all are naive. No, I'm just laying low and making friends. I have a hit list, and Brandon is now gone.
I feel like it's going to be hard to convince people. Like, I want to convince Jake, but I feel like he's so set on wanting to get Docs out. But like, I feel like there's a better move.
What's the say?
K all the way. K all the way.
But I won my first challenge at the final 5. I'm in the top 4, baby. So, like, I love you, Alex. We're gonna be great friends after this, but I hope you go tonight. I don't just listen to music, getting pumped up, baby. Final 4, tear it up. Y'all underestimated me, bitches. MVP, most valuable pawn.
You guys hosed me. Thank you. We did a tribe swap, and I ended up on the wrong side of the numbers when it was next to impossible for us to end up on the wrong side of the numbers, given that we had a 9-5 advantage in the game and we went 7-7. Really give us much information yesterday. My thought, my strategy yesterday was to try to give them some information. I gave them a little bit of misinformation, but I wanted to tell them that I'm open to playing the game, that this is a new game, and that I want to work with them, so here's some information.
We should have 2 bullets in the chamber, because at some point they're going to ask us to vote 2 people off in one night for us to get to a final 3.
You think so? Do we have to? The double?
Do the numbers. Stick to the plan 4, or let's change it to 3.
I thought it was 3.
Right, the verbiage though.
Oh, so right.
So, no, but what I'm saying, if we have to say it in a live, if we have to say it live, and we want to vote OE, then just say, let's change it to 3. And then if we do want to change it, say, guys, just stick to 4.
Okay.
That way they might think, it's not OE, or it is OE. So it's just one more thing to confuse them. It's really easy. Sorry, I'm gonna speak open in front of everybody else, but all we have to do is know where everybody else is gonna vote, and you just make sure that one vote goes here, one vote goes there.
Confused am I?
That's crazy.
So basically, OE's gonna vote for one person. Jess is gonna vote for one person, and those 2 people are gonna be tied, and then we're gonna do a revote and vote one of those 2 people out, right? So between the remaining 6 of us, we have to put 1 vote on Jess, 1 vote on OE, and then other people have to vote for amongst our 6, and hope that you vote the same people that Jess and OE voted.
Do you guys not see that Docs is completely puppet master?
Nice try, OE. OE, you have been doing this all night. You've been going into every room and trying to get us to tear apart, and you even told us this was your strategy tonight. I respect it. I think that's your only play, but we got 10 minutes. I can't.
Well, I would say that they didn't vote me out. They should have, and now that they didn't vote me out, I think that this is probably the best I've felt about the game. So that means I'm going home tomorrow.
Me, Jess, and Alex are voting together tonight for one of you three. And we're going to force rocks. Unless one of you guys wants to jump, first person to jump will vote with you.
That would
If
be
Jess doesn't leave, we vote for Jess.
Okay?
So,
Then it'll be a tie and we go to rocks.
full story.
You guys haven't thought about this for the last 72 hours like I have. None of us can break you three up unless we vote together tonight.
I can't sleep. I hate this game.
Okay, I have received all the votes. If anybody has an advantage and you'd like to play it, now would be the time to do so.
Hey Andy, I found a little something today that I'm going to toss over to my friend Owie.
Any votes cast for Owie tonight will not count.
You can't tell anybody I gave it to you, though. Just say you found it.
Oh man, they don't even know. I've got so many advantages.
Okay, but let's talk about this. Team Tyson, instead of working together and voting for the same person you all wanted off, you guys gave me your advantage.
If anybody has an advantage and you would like to use it, now would be the time to do so.
Yeah, Andy, I would like to play my compass.
Okay, so Jess will play her compass. And so any votes cast for Jess will not count tonight. Here we go. I'll read the
That was a good
votes.
one.
Straight cash, homie.
First vote is for Jess, does not count. Second vote is for Jess, does not count.
Smart move.
Let's go! Huh. That literally could not have gone any better. Well, I'm gonna go drink my wine while they all kill each other. Cheers.
Trust your gut. That's the takeaway from this.
Well, here we are at the very end of Expedition Online Season 1. Tonight we're going to find out which of our final three is the winner of this game and the winner of the $1,000 up top prize. We're sitting here with Docs and Jess and Taryn at the end, as well as our 9 jury members. So everybody who has been voted out since the rendezvous is part of the jury. And we're excited for how this is going to go tonight. This could be, I don't know, hour and a half, 2 hours. We'll see how long it takes. Depends on how difficult these questions are. It's going to be a good time, though. The way that this is going to function is I am first going to come to our final three for 5-minute opening statements. And then we have the order in which we'll go through each of our jurors, asking our final three some questions or just making statements if they feel like just calling them out or whatever it is they're going to do. You'll have to wait and see what that is. It'll be fun. And then we'll come back to our final three for closing statements before we go to a vote. And then we will announce the winner tonight here on this stream. So stick around during the stream. This is going to be an awesome time. And so the way that we determine the order in which you guys will give your opening statements is by the votes received during the season. And so Jess received 4 votes that counted during the season, 3 of them that did not count because she negated them with a compass at one of our crossroads. Docs received 3 votes that counted during the season, and Taryn received 0 votes during the season. So Taryn, you get to decide if you would like to go first now during opening statements and last later, or if you want to go last now and first later with closing statements. It is up to you to choose. First now, last later, or last now, first later.
I guess I'll go first. Why not? Let's start it off.
Sounds good. So Taryn's going to go first. Taryn, you're going to have 5 minutes to give an opening statement, and then Docs, and then Jess, and then we'll do that reverse order later for closing statements. So Taryn, your 5 minutes begins now.
Hello, jury. It's your girl tearing it up. Now, I know that some of you may come into this with a clear winner in your mind. I'm here to change your mind. Unless you want to pick me, then I want you to keep that decision. One of the things that I'm proud of is I never received a vote. I was never seen as a threat. I have exactly 0 votes cast against me. Alex had no votes against her, which is part of the reason why I got rid of her when I had one exemption at the final 5. And no one really saw me as a threat. I played like a low key game, like blend. This was my catchphrase I came up with: blend in with the cluster and avoid the fluster. And I think I did that very well. Every time we went to crossroads, people were always going at each other, and I just sat back and I watched people become targets, and I just stayed out of the target zone. And everyone was telling me, "Oh, the jury loves you. The jury loves you," which was kind of scary. I don't want people to vote me off because the jury loves me, but I really hope you guys do love me. I did kind of play dumb, like I don't know what's going on, when in fact I did have a hit list. I created my hit list when we had swapped teams. Tom, I'm sorry, but you were at the top of my hit list. And then after that, once you did go home, but I did not vote for you the second time, which proves that I did not just vote with the majority. The second time, I actually threw a vote at Jake. So me and Jordan were the 2 votes who went on Jake, and Tom voted for Qua. So yeah. So when you called me a pawn, I assumed the role as the MVP, most valuable pawn, baby. I was like, in my confessionals every day, I was like, how can I be of service to that person today? How can I be of service to this person today? And I kind of disguised my moves by listening to others and not really telling them what I wanted to do. And when they brought up someone's name, I was like, yes, that's a good plan. So once Tom had gotten out, I rearranged my hit list, and it was Owie or Sam. I didn't really care who. I just wanted one of them gone. And then it was Qua, then it was Kimmy, then it was Owie or Sam, whoever didn't go the first time. And it did kind of go reverse order, like Qua went first, but my hit list ended up checking off the boxes there. And I am proud of the Kimmy vote. I mean, at first Jake came to me and he was like, let's vote Docs out. And I was like, heck no. And I know Jordan and I were on the same page with voting out Kimmy. Me and Jordan, I feel like we had similar thoughts and had similar ideas. That's why I loved working with Jordan and Jake. We were Team GOAT, funny name. But yeah, I really think I showed that I was playing the game when I did vote Kimmy out. And then when I did win exemption in Final 5 and I had the choice to vote out Alex. And yeah, people took out each other. I just kind of sat back and I watched you guys take out each other. And I just wanted to play a low-key game, and I didn't want to be a target. I didn't want to be a threat. And I made it through the whole game without any one of you guys being like, let's vote out Taryn. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I didn't hear every conversation. Obviously, I wasn't involved in them all. But I don't think any of you guys ever saw me as a threat. And that was my game plan, to just be under the radar and just coast through. Like, no one wants to vote out awesome, lovable, loyal, fun-loving Taryn. And so, yeah, I think I did what I had to do, and I was playing this game. A lot of my confessionals, I say what my goals were, and I didn't want to share that with others because I didn't want people to be thinking, oh, Taryn's actually knows what's going on. So I just kind of low-key played the game, and I just sat back while everyone wanted to get out the people who I wanted to get out. And here I am in the final 3, and I'm very proud of myself, and I congratulate the other 2 finalists as well. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, wait, no, I'm not done. Sorry.
Okay,
one more thing.
You still have time. Go for it.
So yeah, I wanted to say, like, I loved talking to every one of you guys, and each one of my conversations with you was genuine about life. But the whole, like, I don't know what's going on, that was kind of me playing dumb. And I remember when you guys got Trey out, Docs was like, oh my God, I guess they really don't like actors. And Docs was like, is any one of you guys in here actors? And I was like, no, I went to school for theater. I have a lot in common with Jake. I'm an actor. I do murder mystery dinner theater. No one ever asked me about that, and I didn't want anyone to know because I was scared when Docs mentioned that actors were no one to be trusted. So acting is my passion, and I want to pursue that. So I also kind of, played like, I don't know, clueless, when in fact I did have a hit list plan. Okay, now I'm done. Thank you.
All right. Well, that is tearing it up. Let's go ahead and hear from Docs. Docs, your 5 minutes for your opening statement starts now.
All right, thank you. I'm proud to be sitting here next to these 2 women. I think we all played a very different game. I think we all played our games really well, and I'm interested to see which kind of game the jury is going to value today. I feel like my game was a stronger strategic game, and I feel like I had a really good social game. I made moves in this game. I built a lot of relationships. I put a lot of thought into every single game day, into a lot of little details too. And I tried to influence the game as much as I could. I knew people were throwing my name out there. I was vulnerable from 9 all the way down to the end. I never had immunity. I came into this game with a set of rules that I wanted to play, not the Boston Rob rules, but the William E. Dox rules. And I adapted my game strategy 5 times to adapt to twists in the game. I started out in the early days of Camp Tyson, and I found myself outside of the numbers, outside of the majority alliance. And so I really focused on building relationships with people, genuine relationships. And I did a lot of poisoning the well in that majority alliance. And I'd love to talk about that later if anybody has a question about that. I survived the tribe swap. That was not a good tribe swap for us because I ended up in the wrong side of the numbers. But I think I did a good enough job adapting to that when we got to the merge, we actually had momentum to make the vote and make it work. When we got to the merge, I realized that the game was not one big group versus another big group. It was so many people playing really hard. People were playing in small groups of 1 or 2 or 3, with one alliance. People were in multiple alliances, and it was really hard to keep track of where everybody was and which small alliances were working with each other. At some point, it became obvious that we couldn't function as a big group unless somebody took a lead role, and nobody wanted to do that. So at the 9 vote, I just decided that this game might get out of hand if I don't take the lead. And I called the shot at 9, and I took control of the vote at 8. And I did that knowing that put my neck out on the line. And I found out that meant that my name came up as a serious contention at 7. But my social game saved me because Taryn and Jordan, who were my allies, they saved me at 7 because of my social game. I also survived 5 and 4 because of my social game. Strategically, I approached this game like a crazy person that couldn't sleep. After I logged off at midnight every night, I made a list of every single player in the game. And then under each of your names, I ranked all of the players from your closest ally to the person that you wanted to get out next. And then I studied that board, and I tried to get in your head and look from your perspective and say, what's your end game? What is each person's end game? If I wasn't in your end game, I wanted you out, or I wanted to do something about it. So every day when I logged in at 5 o'clock, I had a game plan, and I had bullet items at things that I wanted to talk to each person each day to try to influence the game. I knew that the game had turned into aggressive players going after aggressive players. So a lot of my strategy was trying to get one aggressive player to look at another aggressive player whose name was not Dox. I did build a lot of strong relationships in this game. I had game plans to navigate those relationships to the end, and I kept my options open so that one road bump didn't derail everything. Now, I talked about the hiccup at 7. The last part of my game was recovering from that vote at 7 and surviving the push from 6 all the way down to 3. Going into the vote at 6, there was 5 other people in the game. 3 of them had aligned to go to the end together. Jess was there. She wanted me out. I just voted for her the previous night, and Alex was there. She spent the entire 24-hour day off believing I lied to her, and she wanted me out of the game. I had a lot of work to do going into that game 6, knowing that final 6, knowing that the other 5 people did not want me into the finals. I worked really hard on Alex. We talked, and I convinced her that it's in her best interest to vote with me and Jess and knock out one of these 3. And then I talked to Jess, and based on the strategy, she was buying it, but she asked me, how do I know I can believe you? Well, the way that I worked with Jess prior to this, on nights when I was voting for her, I would go to her and I'd say, Jess, I don't want you voting for me. And she said, Dox, I don't want you voting for me. I never BS'd her. I never gave her a a fake plan or anything like that. So when it came time for us to work together, she knew that the strategy that I was laying out, that I was serious about it. So I managed to navigate the final 6 when nobody wanted me on the final 3. I was vulnerable at 6, I was vulnerable at 5, and I was vulnerable at 4, and I ended up in the final 3. So I hope that you guys respect the way that I navigated my end game and got into this seat. I did build a lot of strong relationships in the game. I put my heart and soul into this game. I was in the 5 to 12 club with Taryn. We were in game every minute we could. And then I had to play the game really hard. I couldn't take any time off. I didn't have that luxury. I was vulnerable all the time. I hope that you guys can see the moves that I made, especially down the stretch. And I hope that you can see the moves that I needed to make in order to get to the end. I hope that you respect the way that I played the game, and I think that you played a strong game and a strong enough game to win it. I do have a lot of respect for everybody who's on the jury. You guys played a really hard game, and you made it really hard to play, and it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to your questions. I hope I can shed some light on the way I played the game, and yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Thanks, Docs. Let's move on to Jess before we get to our jury portion.
Okay. Hi, guys. First off, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who was involved in putting Expedition Online together. You guys did an amazing job with all of this, and we had a blast. I had signed up for this adventure on a whim after I found out I was getting laid off in my dream job, like a lot of other people were this year. I had put 6 years of my life into my work, and I needed a fun distraction, and this popped up for me at the perfect time. I didn't know what to expect, but it exceeded all of my expectations, and I thoroughly enjoyed playing and getting to know each and every single one of you, even if I did write your name down at some point. I sit here tonight as the last remaining member of the Boston Rob tribe, and I'm really proud. It was an uphill battle with my back against the wall, but I found some compasses, I took some big chances, and I never gave up. I was loyal to my alliance, I never made anyone any false promises, and I tried to play this game how I live my own life, with integrity and a team-first approach. I know you guys all have a lot of questions for us, so I want to keep this short and sweet and break things down for you more at the end, but I'm looking forward to chatting with each and every one of you.
All right. We've heard from our 3 finalists here, and now it's time to head into our jury portion. So again, our jurors will have 5 minutes to ask their question or say their piece and get a response from whoever they're asking for a response from. And at the end of that 5 minutes, whoever is still talking will be asked to complete whatever they're saying, and then that will be time up. Our first juror up is going to be Tom. So Tom, you can unmute yourself and the floor is yours. 5 minutes starts now.
All right, listen. I don't want to vote for any of you. I want you all to lose. That's just being real. Because I wanted to win, obviously. So I'm wondering who's willing to come a little bit further. I don't have any questions. My only question is who's willing to come a little bit further. I'm going to give you an opportunity, Docs. Right? You ready?
Sure. Shave my beard.
You got my vote if you do it, and you might get somebody else's.
I'll shave it. I'm actually planning on shaving it anyway, so this is perfect.
Is this really how we're basing votes, though? Shaving off facial hair? Because I don't have any facial hair.
You want me to shave it right now, or can I do it later?
Oh, right now, baby. Let's go.
All right.
Goodness.
Now, Tom, do we get a chance to do something like this too?
Yeah, if you want to cut the head off the snake that you wore when I got voted out. Taryn, if you want to cut the head off the Yoda that you had in your hands when you voted me out.
Tom, you might be my mom's favorite player.
Nah.
What's that, pal?
I paid over $100 for Baby Yoda. I mean,
Oh, you're gonna win
wanna ruin-
1,000, Karen. What an opportunity! Here it is. Here it is.
If this is how he wants to use it, it's his time. We got 3 minutes still.
There you go, pal. There you go. That's how you take the bull by the horns.
I mean, personally, facial hair grows back. Baby Yoda does not. So I don't think that's a fair comparison.
Is this a trick, or you actually want me to cut the snake head off?
Egomaniacs like to use power for no
That's
reason.
like a snake that I could get at the carnival. Baby Yoda is literally more valuable than Dox's facial hair.
All right, Jess, you gotta make a case here.
Jess's snake, like.
This is so stupid. Well, this snake smells like beer from Halloween, so I really don't care that much.
Look at this, folks. Look at the commitment here.
A lot of Bud Light soaked on this snake, so here you go.
Yeah, you guys are doing things that are, not that important to you. But I'm not going to cut off the head of the child that I paid over $100 for one vote. I'm just not.
Keep your integrity,
Dox,
Taryn.
Look at that handsome face of yours.
Narcissists like to use their power in order to make other people look stupid.
Everybody else on the jury, let's
don't
stay
care.
muted for now, please.
He's a bad person.
I don't care. I wanted to shave my beard anyway.
Tom, I came clean to you after I voted you out, and I didn't run and hide, and I didn't even vote for you the second time. I didn't.
I know. It's got nothing to do with that. I just wanted to make it fun. That's all.
Okay.
I just wanted a different approach, and look at that handsome face. Look at him. Good for
Wow,
you,
Dox, you don't look like that guy from that what was that?
From Brent's video?
Yeah. Too many cooks.
Too many cooks. The problem is I didn't get a haircut, and the beard was good for not getting a haircut, so now I'm screwed. Thanks.
I'm good.
All right. Well, that was Tom's. So next up, let me look here. I got to get back to my order.
Whew.
I think we said Alex was after Tom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. So next up is Alex.
I'm after him.
So Alex, your 5 minutes begins now.
I have a little something written on my phone, so I'm going to read off of that. But I was watching a little game show that's on an island, and you vote people off. And I was watching Heroes versus Villains, and they had a final three that's very similar to this final three. So, Dox, I said that you were the nicer version of Russell, but instead of vocalizing your control, you vocalized the opposite. You're a little bit like a snake, so you hid low, but you struck high. And you went in for the kill and moved on to the next, nothing happened. You were cutthroat, you were devious, I applaud you for it. And you got the target off your back and begged for people's vote, like you were always on the bottom, when you really weren't. So my question to you is, did you truly feel on the bottom for the entire game, or was that your whole strategy?
I was definitely out of the loop in original Tyson. Tom was running the show. He had an alliance with Rachel, with you, with Taryn, with Kimmy, and possibly Qua. And I knew it. And every time I went to talk to Tom over there, he gave me nothing. He just gave me nothing. So I knew that I was out of the loop, and this has been confirmed later. So I knew I was in the bottom when we were at Team Tyson. And when I came to people for the first 2 days, nobody was giving me anything. So I poisoned the well. And I made you guys double, to think whether you wanted to be there. One of the things I did with you and with Kimmy was I just kept calling it Tom's Alliance. It's Tom's Alliance. Tom's going to get credit for making these moves. You wanted moves. Kimmy wanted to make moves. And I knew that if I called it Tom's Alliance, that wouldn't sit well with you guys. With Taryn, she didn't care about who got credit for it. So with Taryn, I told her this was just truth. But Tom was saying
that the Patriots were his favorite team. And then when Kimmy went to talk to him, the Panthers were his favorite team. And I just pointed that out, and I said, he's giving you guys the same story. I just made you guys question that alliance.
That me, Kimmy, and Alex, and even Rachel, we knew we had to get Tom out at some point, but you didn't make us get Tom out. We wanted Tom out at least I wanted Tom out on my own at some point because I knew he was in control. It was the lean Tom.
Right. Well, I mean, that was, I was trying to make relationships with everybody that were real relationships. I do think, Alex, that it's a bit unfair because you wanted me out too. And you told people that you wanted me out. So for me to want you out when you wanted me out is a bit unfair.
Okay, I'm done asking for you. All right, Taryn, I said that you're Sandra, but you lacked her confidence throughout the whole game. So you started from the bottom, but you made your way to the top. You voted me out. I'm not bitter about it. I actually think it might have been one of your best moves throughout the game, and I respect you for it. You used the anyone but me strategy, and you never received a single vote. That you should be proud of. Be confident in who you are, and be proud of your gameplay. So my question for you is, you kind of answered it a little bit, but I would like more context. Why you decided to vote me out instead of vote with me against Docs in the final 5?
Right. So I do have a lot of confidence in my confessionals. I was very confident in my plan and in my confessionals. The confidence didn't really rub off the wrong way, like talking to you guys, because I didn't want to show that I was confident in my plan. But I decided to vote you out because you didn't tell me about the advantage, and that kind of like broke the trust that I thought I had in you. And because you were actually, even though that was a mistake on your part, you were making moves. You were trying to make these moves. Docs, everyone thinks Docs is this big puppeteer. I don't think Docs single-handedly said, I got this person out. No. Docs, everyone was like, Docs is a puppeteer. I honestly didn't think Docs was that much of a puppeteer, which is why I saw you as a bigger threat, and I wanted to cut you and just keep Docs around because I think that I didn't really see him as much of a threat. I saw you as a threat, plus you had no votes against you. So I didn't want you going into the final 3 with no votes against you, just like me. I wanted to be the only one in the final 3 with no votes. And the trust thing, if you told me about the advantage, we could be sitting here side by side, or maybe I would have cut you because you were on my hit list, but you were at the bottom of my hit list, towards the bottom. But when you didn't tell me about the advantage, and then you were the first one who wanted to flip. I remember you said you were 50% of siding with Brandon when we were over at Team Rob. So when you said that, I was like, oh, she's gonna flip. And I did trust you for a little while, and I felt like I had a better chance going forward with Docs than you. And I'm sorry I had to let you go, because if it was personality wise, I would never vote you out, girl. Never.
I promised you I'd never vote you out, and I stuck to it.
Alex, we're over 5 minutes, well over 5 minutes. But if you had a question for Jess, I do not want to cut Jess short of an opportunity to respond.
I don't have a question for Jess. I have a small statement, though. Could I do that?
Yep, go for it.
Okay. Jess, because as an OG Team Rob, you had the biggest target back when we rendezvoused alongside the other Team Rob people. Advantages were given to you, and you gave other people advantages. You played a super flashy game, and it's astonishing to me that people didn't get you out earlier when they had the chance. People underestimated you, me included, and you were as loyal as they come by. So that's all I got for y'all.
All right, thank you, Alex. Next up is Qua. So Qua, your 5 minutes begins now.
So my vote is completely up in the air tonight. I actually don't know who I'm voting for. I do want to piggyback off of Alex's previous statement, though, where I did want to get Jess out, but no one else did, and that's why I got out. So congrats, Jess. Alex, you kind of messed up there. But my first question is for Taryn. So I think the Kimmy vote out was probably the biggest vote out of the season. And so I just want to ask you, Taryn, why did you vote Kimmy rather than Jess? Because to me, on the jury looking in, it seemed like at that vote you wanted Jess to win rather than Kimmy. So tell me why you voted Kimmy out rather than Jess.
Because I didn't know about this advantage that Alex had. So if Alex did not, if Alex had not given Jess that advantage, I don't think Jess would be here in the final 3 because I did win exemption at 5, and that is when she used that advantage. So if she had not had that advantage, Jess would have gone home. So at that point, I did want to get Jess out.
Too.
Yeah, she had her compass, right? So she didn't have the advantage. You know, she had to have both of them to make it to the final 4 for a shot to go in the final 3. Whereas Kimmy, she was just winning challenges, and I don't know if Kimmy didn't go, she could have won the next exemption. She could have won the exemption after that and never have gotten the chance. So I seen it as an opportunity to get Kimmy out.
So you didn't vote for Jess because she had all those advantages?
No, I didn't know she had those advantages. So I saw Kimmy as a bigger threat, and I saw it as the perfect opportunity to get Kimmy out because she didn't have exemption, and she had exemption like 2 or 3 other times. All
right, sure. So, okay, thank you for that. Docs, when I got voted out, who did you think Jess, Owie, and Sam were going to vote for?
I didn't. I was worried that maybe they were mad at you or me. I didn't really know who they were going to vote out. But I was with you trying to get the votes, and you and I had convinced everybody to change the vote to Sam 45 minutes before, and then like 10 minutes before, Alex came back and she changed the vote back to Owie.
That's accurate. Sure.
Yeah.
I did. Right.
Owie did. If what you're inferring, Owie did say to me the night before, she did throw your name out, but
I did hear that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And but I didn't know that they were. I never talked to them, and they never told me who they were voting for.
Okay, that's fine. And then at the Kimmy vote, I want to go back to there again. You voted for Jess, but what was your plan there? Vote out Jess and then just die or like get a rock draw at the final 6? Why not just vote out Taryn at the Kimmy vote out? Why Jess? Because then you're stuck in a rock draw.
Well, I was okay with a rock draw, but Kimmy was my closest ally in the game. So we were trying to get Jess out, and I was worried about Jess having an advantage, a compass, because I knew there was still one compass in the game. And I was talking to everybody about that there might be a compass in the game, and other players were saying, nah, I think Qua took it out. And Alex and I talked, and Alex was supposed to throw a vote on Jake in case Jess played the compass that night.
Okay. All right. Then my last question goes to Jess. So there was a common theme throughout the season where everyone goes out of their way to say that I'm amazing. Tom said that I'm smarter and quicker than everyone. Sam said I was going to roll the game after I got voted out. And then Jordan says I was the most calculated, right? But then at one crossroads, I forgot which one it was, Jess thought that I got voted out with an advantage. So that just doesn't really roll with the theme of everyone saying I'm amazing. So I just want to know why you think I got voted out with an advantage.
I didn't think that you did. I knew that I had them, and I just wanted to say that you had them so no one picked up on it.
Okay, that's fair. All right, thank you for that. I'm done now.
Well, we all did think you were so smart. That's why I put your name down.
All right, thank you, Qual. Next up, a guy who very easily could have been sitting here. So let's hear from Jake.
I don't know about very easily. I think I would have gone to a challenge. So, you know. So, all of you guys played great games. Taryn, the Jordan and you told me that Qua and Jordan had voted for me, which is why I put the vote on Qua, when he went out, which good move. I just found that out when you said that. It was you and Jordan, and then you pulled me into your alliance. So smart. If you want to talk about some strategy that I just realized on her today. That's what I want to talk about, strategy. I'm more impressed. This isn't shots at anyone. I think you all played great games. I've always been more impressed in Survivor with people who found themselves with their backs against the wall, and they had to use the social aspect of their games to talk their way into something that wasn't necessarily beneficial for the person they were talking to, and they used their words in order to save themselves. I think a lot of people see the way that Jess played. I know I certainly do right now, as you using idle, because you were immune for 4 tribals in a row, or for 4 crossroads in a row, and that doesn't necessarily the way that I see it. So I would like to hear all of you talk about a social move that you made, not involving advantages, past the merge, like in the in game, in order to save yourself, or to get someone voted out.
Who's going first?
We can. I mean, any order. It doesn't matter to me. You can just speak up. It's just each one of you.
Okay. Well, I mean, I said this earlier. I think my relationships with Jordan and Taryn saved me at 7, and then I think that my relationships and the social game that I had saved me at 5 and 4, because I talked to Taryn and I talked to you. You guys had the choice to take me out or to take Alex out, and I think it was my social game and the way that I was working with you guys and dealing with you guys throughout the game that helped take Alex out.
I agree. The smart move was to take you out. Taryn, I guess.
Oh,
I'm just looking down the line. I don't know.
I don't really think it was the smart move to take Docs out, because I think while Alex made a mistake, she did make moves and she did go hard and she did like flip and whatnot. Personally, for me, I think one of the big moves was the Kimmy vote, because you did come to me and you wanted to get Docs out, and I didn't save Docs because of his social game to me, because I liked my one-on-one with Kimmy. We didn't have a lot, but I liked talking to Kimmy. If it was someone I connected with, I didn't want to vote Kimmy out. I had to, because I thought it was best for my game, and I thought she was the bigger threat of the two. But I can't really say there was a moment where I had to really save myself. I never felt like my back was against the wall, so I can't really say that I ever was in that situation. I can say, though, that I did win exemption at Final 5, and I did get like the ultimate say of who to vote out, because everyone was like, Taryn, I'll do what you want, and that's when I kind of felt in the most power.
Good answer. Jess?
I have 2 examples for this. So the first social move I did was back on Team Rob when the idol came into play. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
So after the merge, I think the big thing I did was lining up with Alex. She was instrumental in helping me out. She was my ally on the other side, and she looked out for me, and a big part of why I'm sitting here is for forming that bond with her.
Did you ask for the advantage, or did she give it to you? That's the last thing I'm going to say.
I didn't ask. She offered it up to me.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jake. Next up is Rachel. Let's hear from Rachel. Rachel, your 5 minutes starts now.
Hey guys, congrats on getting to this point. I'm going to keep it brief. I know this is like a big game of what ifs, and it's a big game of like get or get got. But, you know, emotions are involved, and so like Taryn, we were supposed to be aligned. Docs, you had said you wanted to work with me. You know, I get it, it's a game. But like the fact that anyone from original Team Rob is still around is just like mind-blowing to me. So I plan to vote for Jess. So congratulations, Jess.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's all from Rachel.
Can we respond to that?
Rachel, are you okay with hearing responses?
Sure.
Okay, and Rachel, I'm not trying to change your mind. You can vote for Jess, but you and I did talk about early on if somebody was coming for you, I would let you know, and if somebody was coming for me, you would let me know. And I know that Tom was coming for me, and I know that you were Tom's closest ally, and you didn't say anything to me. So
I think this might be more of a conversation for the reunion.
Okay.
I know, like, this is a game heavily based on stipulations, and I did say that to you, but our team won and won and won and won, and so I never had the opportunity to come to you.
Okay,
so
that's fair. I'm just explaining why I didn't feel the obligation to tell you.
That's fine.
Okay.
I guess I'll touch on this. Rachel, you were on like the absolute bottom of my hit list. I didn't know that so many people were going to vote for you. I didn't expect for you to blow up, and I didn't want you gone. I actually voted Tom. I didn't want to tell you about Tom, and like maybe I do regret that because maybe you would have voted for Tom and it would have been a tie, and he would have gone home over you, and we could have figured something out. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I am sorry, but at the end of the day, like I wanted to, stick with Team Tyson, but I didn't want to get Tom out. But at the end of the day, so many people like Alex and Kimmy, they just wanted to flip, and the numbers just weren't there.
And look, you're in the end. You're sitting in the final three. Like, good for you. You don't owe me an apology. Like, it's good you played the way you did because who knows, like, how things could have turned out if you didn't. So, you don't owe me an apology, although I appreciate it. And, like, I just feel like maybe the rest can be said at the reunion or something.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Thanks, Rachel. All right, let's hear from... he does, regardless of what he says, don't believe him. He fights caribou and moose with his bare hands. And so let's hear from Wilderness Man, Bear Grylls, Jordan. You got your 5 minutes. You can start now.
Appreciate the intro. So mine's a fairly simple question. Who was your favorite vote out, or which crossroads was your favorite, and why? And I guess we'll start with Jess. She hasn't gotten a whole lot of time to speak.
Oh, okay. My favorite crossroads. Sorry, Qua, but I liked when I played the compass and got you out. I think that was the first big compass move in the game, and where I started to get a little of my game street cred.
My favorite, even though this was the first time I had to like lie to someone and say I was voting Jess out when I actually voted Kimmy out, was the Kimmy vote. It just kind of solidified that like me, Jake, and Jordan were like sticking together, and we all voted the same way, and we all decided to make that move to get Kimmy out. I'm very proud of that, and that was my favorite crossroad. It wasn't the most like dramatic. There was more dramatic crossroads, which was fun for me to sit back and watch. But like as a move wise, that was my favorite one.
I hate to say this to you, Jordan, but at 6, when Jess and Alex and I worked together, I didn't have any options in the game but to force that tie at that point, and I felt really proud that we were able to come together and force that tie. Because I did not think for the 24 hours coming into it that they were going to work with me. And it was just my only move.
Well, I'm good. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
I'd like to say that I played a big hand in both of those crossroads to make sure those votes were solidified.
Okay, fair enough. Jess gets the last word, and let's move on now to someone wearing a Jack Daniels t-shirt. No reason really why she would wear that, but let's hear from Oe.
This is what I pulled out of my drawer today. I'll start with, well, first of all, congratulations to you three.
You guys deserve it. So congratulations. I'm gonna start with Docs, and then I'll move to Jess, and then if I have time, I'll go to Taryn. So Docs, I'm glad that Alex picked up on the same kind of things that I picked up on. You were always, at least at the beginning when we merged, you were always seemed to be playing the victim, which didn't sit right with me. You know, you said it was a 7-4-1 game. You were on the bottom. You were on the bottom of Team Tyson, but then when we get to the merge, it seems like you're the one pulling the strings. So it just came off as very calculated, and I know that in the superlatives challenge, that was one of your words, was calculated.
Mm-hmm.
Which actually, and that was part of your opening statement, is how you were always thinking of the minute details, which honestly makes me want to not vote for you, because every interaction that we had seemed very ingenuine. It seemed like your relationships weren't real, because everything that I would say to you would get turned in some way. It just seemed very ingenuine to me. So my question for you is there a moment in this game that helped move you forward that was not calculated by you?
Absolutely. And I actually had real relationships, and I actually connected with you, and I even told Jess that was my hardest day, was the way everything fell out. I was not at the top of the Team Tyson, and I voted with you at 12 and I voted with you at 11. And after we got Tom out, I came to you and I said, listen, everybody's talking about having to take a Team Rob person out tomorrow. And I was giving you a heads up because we had a good relationship. And I was saying, can we shift the votes off of you? And you came back to me and said, okay, let's take Qua. But Qua wasn't an original Team Rob. So I was like, that's not what we're talking about here. So that confused me. And Jess filled it in and said it was because when we were talking at the previous camp, I thought that Qua and Tom were working together. So I was trying to warn you not to talk about Tom in front of Qua. And so there was a misunderstanding there.
Yeah, the moment was, and Sam was there, is that it was me and you and Sam and Qua in a room.
Mm-hmm.
Qua walked away and you held up that sign that said Qua is working with Tom. And so that was, I think that was misleading a little bit, and probably just the miscommunication between us.
Right. And we're talking about Tom was just voted out and Qua was okay with voting Tom out. So that concern about Qua working with Tom was gone. And then you were coming to me saying, how about you vote Qua out? Qua is the guy I'm working with. And there's the winds are blowing towards a Team Rob player, because the reality was I wasn't pulling the strings and conducting 7 people here. The reality was that there were a lot of little groups working together, and they all wanted to take one of the 4 Robs because that was the biggest, strongest group that was remaining in the game. And so you disappeared. Oh, so I mean, I disagreed with the idea that every conversation I had with people was calculated. I really did like to get to know people, and I really had genuine connections with people in this game.
Okay. Jess, move on to you. Cheers. So I think, Jess, you were incredibly underestimated the first half of this game, and I'm so proud of you for doing what I couldn't do. So unbelievably proud of you. I don't know. I since this season has been all about resumes, I just was writing down a few things on your resume. You had great timing. You played under the radar when you needed to, and then you stepped up to the spotlight when you needed to. You survived 14 crossroads, every single crossroads that you could in this game, besides Brandon's. You created trust and strong relationships, found not one compasses, but you correctly played, getting out 2 majority alliance members, convinced another player to give you a advantage, which she offered it, so that's miswording on my part, which ultimately put you in the final 4, and then you won an exemption challenge, the only one that would truly mattered. So Jess, you played the best possible game you could with the cards you were dealt. And I would like to know if you have any regrets.
Thank you. That was all really nice. Honestly, my biggest regret is not telling you that I had a compass and not playing it for you that night. That I still feel really horrible about it because I wanted you and me at the end of this, but I knew long term that would be a horrible play if I did that. If I played it for you that night, I'd have a bigger target on my back, and then either me or you would be gone next week, and then the week after would be the other person. So I'm sorry for not telling you that, but I knew if I told you, I would have given you some sense of false hope that I might play it, or I would have guilted myself into playing it for you, and I'm sorry that I couldn't have saved you.
I totally understand. I agree with you. I don't think that you could have moved as far in the game if you had saved me that night. So I totally understand. And then if I have time for Taryn, I would like to
I'll give you
Taryn,
time since she hasn't heard from you.
Okay.
Yep.
Taryn, I would like to know your perspective on the Kimmy vote, because I think that was your biggest vote in this game. So I want to know exactly what happened. Was it Jordan? Was it Jake? Was it Taryn? How did it come together?
Okay, so first off, I was like, let's not make a decision because who's going to win exemption? That's like the biggest thing. Like, obviously, if Kimmy wins exemption, she can't go. I believe Alex won exemption that day. I don't know. So Jake had approached, and like when Kimmy didn't win exemption, I was like, like I know everyone wants Jess out, but like this could be a really big move. She doesn't have exemption, and like I had a conversation with her, and I think I thoroughly convinced her, like, oh, I'm voting Jess, like totally, we're all voting Jess. It's gonna be great. And so I had to lie to her. I didn't want to, I didn't like voting her out, but I know it's what I had to do. So Jake came to me and he was like, let's vote Docs out. And then I was like, yeah, I told him, yeah, like sure, like let's vote Docs out. And then Jordan came online and I told him like that's, we both agreed that was a dumb idea and it was better to get Kimmy out. So then when I did talk to Jess, and obviously Jess isn't going to vote for herself, right? And Jess told me that she was up in the air between Docs and Kimmy, and I was like, I think let's vote for Kimmy. Jake and Jordan, we're all on board. It can be 4-3, and then Kimmy would go home.
Okay, so it was Jess.
Well, I mean, Jess wasn't going to vote for herself, so we did make the decision to vote for Kimmy, so yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, Owen, your time's up. Thank you. And here we go. Let's hear from Kimmy. Kimmy, your 5 minutes starts now.
Hi, guys. Congratulations. I just want to start out by saying, please don't sugarcoat anything or like tiptoe around your answers. Just give it to me straight. Docs, you kind of answered my question, but I'm still going to ask the same question I had prepared because I want to see if you elaborate at all. In the game, we frequently said we're each other's ride or die, final two. You even said you would go to rocks for me at final four. But I feel like multiple people viewed you as their number one person in the game. So I just want to know if you did intend to take me to final two. And if it wasn't me, who were you most loyal to in the game?
It was you. You were the only one that trusted me fully. And I trusted you for that. And that was from very early in the game.
Okay. All right. I have questions for Jess and Taryn too. So Jess, from my perspective, it seems like you were handed multiple things in the game. You played a great game regardless, but I just want to know, because you got a challenge advantage from Bobby and you got safety without power from Alex. So I want to know if you think you were given a free ride to the final three and why you think that people handed you advantages in the game.
Just to clarify on that, the only thing anyone ever gave me was the safety without power from Alex. The two compasses, I found those on my own.
What about the challenge advantage that you got?
I don't know what you're talking about. What's the challenge advantage?
You didn't get a challenge advantage from somebody?
Oh, is that what Alex... Oh, no. you were gone then, because I think you had said that I was supposed to say I saw that clue for the advantage, so it didn't look like you gave it to me. I didn't get any challenge advantage from anyone. I found both of those compasses on my own.
Okay, and why do you think Alex gave you the safety without power? Was it like your social skills, or you think you were just underestimated in the game?
I think I played a good social game, and me and Alex got to know each other very well and wanted to work together. And I think that was her way of saying that I should trust her and to work with her. I didn't really know what to take of it. I kind of thought that Alex might vote me off after I took it, but it still was an advantage, and it helped me out in the end.
Okay. Taryn, I keep hearing you refer to my vote as your biggest move, and I agree. It was a big move. It was a really good move. But what moves did you make prior to voting me out? Like, were you just in the backseat for the whole game before my vote, or were you actively playing the game before that?
I definitely think that I was playing the game. I was listening to everybody. I think I played a good social game, and people would tell me who they wanted out. And if it aligned with who I wanted out, I was like, yes, I agree. Because I didn't want to be like, all right, I'm taking this person out. I'm taking this person out. Like, I didn't want to become a target. And I think I did well with that and not becoming a target. And people wanted the big threats out. So everyone, like the big threats wanted the big threats out. And I decided like which threat I wanted to align with to get the other one out.
Did you make any moves before blindsiding?
I actually, when we voted OE, part of me wanted to say, like, let's stick with the plan of 4 guys and maybe people would switch their vote to Sam. But deep down inside, I knew that if they had an advantage, it wouldn't be me going. And they were talking to me about how much of a threat Qua was. So I feel like I decided to keep my mouth shut. And if they did have this big move, then Qua would go home. And then that could have been hard to get Qua home. So I like kind of let them, if they had a compass, which I had an inkling they did, to get Qua out. I almost said something, and I was waiting for Doc to say something. He didn't. I almost said something, but I decided to keep my mouth shut. A lot of times in this game, because I'm a talker, right? So I love to talk. So I decided like to listen and kind of hear what everyone had to say and make my moves based on what people had to say to me, rather than actively saying like, I think we should do this. That's
Okay,
how I decided to play my game.
What player's game do you respect the least and why? It could be pre-jury, jury, or someone in the final.
What player's game do I respect the least?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I don't know. Like now that I think about it, I kind of think that Tom's game, like I don't understand Tom's game at all. Like especially his whole act going into Crossroads with putting your resume out there, putting Alex's resume out there. I'm like, is he trying to save himself? Like I didn't understand his point. And I really think that he could have actually built alliances and built things with other people, knowing that all of Tyson wanted to get him out. He could have made relationships with Team Robs, but he just chose to attack you and Alex in this weird way instead of like fixing his game when he knew he was on the bottom.
So you respect his game?
Yes, I do. Okay. Plus, he called me a pawn, so I don't know.
All right, thank you, Kimmy.
Yeah.
Our last juror that you guys will hear from is Mr. Sam. Go ahead.
Cool. Let's put a little borrow from our favorite game show that we all watch on TV. I think we have a great example here of outwitting, outplaying, and outlasting. Taryn, you did a great job of outlasting. You've spoken to that a lot tonight. And I think there's no question about it. You're in the final 3. You did better than 15 other people. I think my math's right there. Who knows? But it was a great game, I think, for 3rd place. I just frankly think the other 2, outwitting and outplaying you, was more. Jess, your game has been described tonight as flashy. I think with all of your advantages, with your loyalty, you outplayed everybody in this game. Your plays were just better than everybody. And Docs, you outwitted everybody. I know there's been a lot of debate on your puppet mastery, or however we want to title it. You, one way or another, whether people believe it or not, you had a pulse on this game, as you've spoken to. And I think that helped you get to this position by outwitting everybody. That's where you three stand. And I think it really is coming down to Docs and Jess. So to put a nice little Minnesota nice wrap on this tribal council or crossroads here, you guys just preach each other's games a lot. Docs and Jess, I want you to tell us why the other should win. And Docs, you're first on my screen, so let's start with you.
Okay. I did respect the way that Jess played the game. I think that her best move in the game was the vote at 7 when she had 2 advantages in her pocket and knew that votes were coming at her, and she took out a big threat in Kimmy. I think that was a more impressive play than any of the idle plays or any of the advantages, which wasn't really gameplay.
Jeff?
Speaking to Dox's game, he played us all very well socially. He made us feel like he was on the bottom when he came over to our camp and that he was going to work with us long term. But then when we rendezvoused, he went back with Team Tyson. So he played us very well there, and he was always going back and forth, convincing people to vote his way and mastering the votes. And I think it was a great move at the end where he lined up with me and Alex to save all of us and move forward. If that didn't happen, he might not have been sitting here right now.
Great. Yeah, I think those are great answers. You guys did great, and I think Tom Westman at one point said this in some reunion show on our, again, favorite show. I think regardless how the vote shakes out tonight, the right person does win. It is ultimately in our hands, so let's put these votes to the test here, guys.
All right. Thank you, Sam. Well, we're through the hard part. So we're going to have our final statements from each of you guys. So give your closing arguments, and we're going to go in the reverse order from what we did before. And so, Jess, you have 5 minutes to go first, and then we'll hear from Docs, and then Taryn will close it off for us. So, Jess, your 5 minutes
right.
for whatever else you need to say starts now.
All right. So there's been a lot of talk in this game about resumes. So I brought a copy of mine with me tonight, and I hope it speaks for itself. My long-term goals were not just to make it to the merge, but to make it to the finals and to give people a reason to vote for me. I tried to stay low-key in the beginning of the day in the game, so I didn't get pegged as a huge threat and sent home right away. I focused on building good relationships with everyone and getting to know them. I knew I needed to make some big moves after the merge if I was going to win, so I started to working on building my Explorer street cred after that, which leads me to my accomplishments. I found 2 merge compasses on my own. I was part of 3 of the Team Tyson threat blindsides. That was Qua, Jordan, and Kimmy. 2 of those votes, I had used my compasses to take them out. And the third one, which was Kimmy's, I had just chanced going home with 2 compasses in my pocket to have the numbers to vote her out. I saved one of my teammates from going home. I had 1 acquired advantage from Team Tyson, and I had 1 tough-ass 3-part final challenge win. I survived 14 crossroads, and on top of that, I won the Most Loyal Explorer Award, which I think is a nice one to have. I know this is an individual game at the end of the day, but I tried my best to look out for people who I knew were looking out for me as much as I could. I believe you can't get very far in this game without supporting others and having them support you along the way. I tried to be as straightforward as I could with everyone. I never made promises I couldn't keep. I watched out for my original Team Rob Alliance as much as I could, and when I aligned with Docs and Alex at the end of the game, I tried to keep the 3 of us together for the finals as well. I took a big chance when I stayed at the tribal where Kimmy left, knowing it could have been easily be me voting out with 2 advantages in my pocket. And I think I took a chance bringing Taryn and Docs to sit here tonight in front of a jury made of mostly former Team Tyson members. I think this game is a fine balance of maintaining your character and making moves, and I think I did that really well. I hope you guys will all take my resume into consideration for your final vote and the position of Soul Explorer. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Jess. Docs, your 5 minutes for your closing arguments begins now.
All right, thanks. I didn't have the free outs that Jess had in this game. I was vulnerable from 9 down to 3 at every single one. I didn't win any immunities. I didn't have the advantages. My strategy was to keep a lot of options open. I talked to a lot of people. I had a lot of small groups that I was working with, and I talked to a lot of people and collected information and tried to see which way the wind was blowing. I did not want to be standing in front of the firing squad when the music stopped on any given night. Some of that time, it meant that I influenced the vote. I feel like I did influence the vote in this game. And some of the times it meant that I just had to pivot my game and make sure that I was with the numbers so that I could execute something the next day. It's true that I worked with a lot of little groups. It's true that a lot of people were working with me. I also saw that people that were working with me were working with people I wasn't working with. It was a very complicated game after the merge, you know. It is true that I played a very calculated game. I did have an end game. I did look and see what's my path to the end. I also looked in and put myself in your shoes. What's your path to the end? And I saw that there were a lot of you that were playing that weren't going to include me in your plans at the end. If you had me at 5, if you had me at 6, it wasn't doing me any good to keep you into the game and allow the numbers to collapse on me. I feel like the only time that the numbers collapsed on me in this game was when Kimmy was taken out at 7. And then I had a lot of work to do at 6 to get that advantage back in the game and get the percentage back in my favor. So I put my heart and soul into this game. I was there from 5 to 12, but I have not slept in 3 weeks. I cannot stop thinking about this game. I am constantly writing down notes and trying to figure out how I'm going to play the game. I built real relationships in this game, and I am proud with the way I played. I think I played the only way I could play this game. I think that there are a lot of you that are sitting on the jury right now that played the game the same way that I did. And I'm just going to ask you to consider that I played and executed the game and got to the end that you played and executed. And I hope that, like I put myself in your shoes this whole game, that you can put yourself in my shoes tonight, and you would want to be rewarded for playing the game the way you set out to play and sit at the end. I hope that I got your vote tonight. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Docs. Taryn, go ahead and put a wrapper on this. Your 5 minutes begins now.
Hi, jury. I'm not just going to sit back and accept third place. I'm going to have the confidence, and I'm going to speak up and give it all I got. I played a very, very different game than the people who went hard, and I realized that. You know, at the end of the day, I am proud that I got 0 votes against me. No one else can say that. I think I played an amazing social game. I'm everybody's friend. I'm team fun, right? I'm trustworthy. I'm genuine. I was also very stressed, and that's just my anxiety. That's another one of my adjectives. I know a lot of people in the game were telling me Docs is a puppet master, but I never really saw Docs as like influencing the vote. He just voted the way I wanted to vote, and we didn't even vote the same. He voted Rachel, I voted Tom. He voted Jess, I voted Kimmy. He was never controlling me. Someone told me I was Docs' pawn. That's not a thing. And you know, I never had to have a compass. Like I knew I was never going to win a compass. I was never going to find it on the internet. That was not my thing. I was the least knowledgeable in Survivor trivia. So I I know that, Jess's game is very respectable. I love her game, and she did what she had to do, and I just was never in the position of having to save myself. And I think that is a strategy that I, had. And Docs, you did win exemption. You won the scavenger hunt, if I do say so myself. So I think you did win one there.
Right, that was it.
But yeah, I never had to win an advantage. I was very low key. I slid by. I had 0 votes, and my motto was blend in with the cluster, avoid the fluster. And I really think I did what I had to do to make it to the end, and no one ever wanted to vote me out. And I just disguised my moves as like other people's moves because they wanted to get out who I wanted to get out on my hit list in my confessionals. My confessionals are way amazing. I wish you could see them all and understand how I would play the game. But you'll see them eventually. And I just wanted to thank every one of you for playing this game with me. And congratulations to Docs and Jess for being in the finals. I'm happy to be sitting alongside with you. And I can't wait to be friends after this is over and add you guys on social media if you want to be my friend.
All right. Thank you, Taryn. Our final 3 has done all that they can do. If everybody could go ahead and mute themselves, that would be super helpful. We're getting a bit of an echo. Final 3's done everything they can do to potentially earn the vote from this jury. And I think this has been an incredible season. Our cast has been phenomenal. And we are excited for how this has turned out. But let's figure out who the winner of this thing is, huh? So everyone in the jury, you are tonight sending me the name of the person that you would like to see win this game, earn the title of Ultimate Explorer and the $1,000 prize up top. Please send me your votes now. I'll be right back. I'm going to go tally the votes. Okay. Here we go. All right, well, we have the results. And again, you want to see your name written down. Here we go. I will go ahead and read our votes. Our first vote is for Jess. Second vote is for Docs. Third vote is for Jess. Fourth vote is for Docs. We are 2 votes Jess and 2 votes Docs. Fifth vote is for Jess. Sixth vote is for Docs. We're at 3 votes Jess, 3 votes Docs, 3 votes remaining. Seventh vote is for Jess. Eighth vote. And winner of Season 1 of Expedition Online is Jess. Jess, that is enough. You have won the title of Ultimate Explorer. Yeah, go ahead and drink. And you have won the $1,000 prize up top. Jess, go ahead and give us your thoughts. Go ahead and unmute yourself. I'm sure you're thrilled. Let's hear from you for a second.
Oh my god. Thank you guys all for voting for me. I really appreciate it. I don't even know what to say right now. I didn't know how this vote was going to go at all. Like I said, I was so nervous to come in sitting next to former Team Tyson members, and I really appreciate you guys giving me your vote tonight. I know Team Rob had a rough start to the beginning of the season, but I hope we made him proud at the end.
Congrats, Jess. Good
job.
Thank
Docs and Taryn, we definitely got to hear from you guys too. Obviously, you made it all the way to the end and did all that you could do, and it was up to the jury. But fantastic game from both of you. Let's hear some of your thoughts about this game and how you're processing this right now. Go ahead, Docs.
I thought that Jess was going to win, and I think yesterday when Jess won Final Four and we got back, I congratulated her. Everybody that left the game always said, you've got to get Jess out or she's going to win. So she earned it. She did a great job. This is her season. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats, Jess. I had a lot of fun. Coming into this, I didn't want to be the first one out, and I didn't want to get fourth because 5 days before this game, I finished Big Brother Online, and I finished fourth, and I was voted out 2 days before the finale, and it's the worst. And I just wanted to come in here and do better than that, and I'm proud of myself that I did that. And congrats, Jess. Like, as soon as Jess won, like, the Final Four competition, I knew that she had, like, the best game with, like, the advantages and stuff, and we just couldn't get her out because she had the compasses and the advantage from Alex, and she definitely deserved it.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to, give it my best.
And you did. You did. You did a fantastic job at this final Ascent for sure. And all three of you had great cases to present. And the person who won just happened to have a big old resume, literally written down, of all the things that she did. And so, guys, this has been a phenomenal season. You guys are welcome to hang out and do whatever you want on here, but I'm just going to give a couple announcements to everybody who's watching and for those of you that are in this room as well. Next Wednesday night, you can tune in here to the Rob vs. Tyson channel, and you'll be able to be part of watching our reunion show where we have everybody who played this season on there with Rob and Tyson talking through how this season has gone, and it's going to be a fantastic time. Season 2 is in the works. It will be coming in 2021. We'll be looking towards that, so be on the lookout for applications and such. We'd love to have you stay on board with us. This has been a phenomenal season. We're looking forward to many more. Thanks, guys, for making it as great as it was by being an awesome cast. And congratulations again to our winner of Season 1, Expedition Online, Jess. So, Jess, we will definitely need to figure out how to get you your prize. And, yeah, congratulations on the huge win in this, our inaugural season. And so, thanks for being on here with us, folks. Thanks for staying tuned all season. And yeah, this has just been a phenomenal experience, and there's going to be many more of these to come. So stay tuned, folks. Have a good night.